That's just Kira stating that Joe can't multitask.
Uh,
Damn.
yeah.
Fucking damn.
I did not intend it that way. My intent was that Joe's probably going to be focusing on picking music. I'd better not overburden him.
You don't want his simple mind to collapse under the pressure.
Well, when you put it
Listen.
that way, I sound like an asshole.
I don't know. He
So-
kind of deserves it for earlier.
It's only fair. I took the easy short joke.
All
There's
right,
no ill will here.
Recap. What have we got?
We escaped the hellhole.
Yes, he did.
Got back to town and saw the most important person in town, Shalelu.
She kind of is. I do love her.
She was very normal about things like Goblin Lard. Shay carried off the greatest peanut heist that Sandpoint has ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then had a
Ameko is,
battle of wills over Goblin Lard with Shalelu.
They had to call that a stalemate, I think. I don't think anyone won there. Ameko's doing all right, doing better.
We went over the shit about, was it Thistletop?
Yes.
Yeah, Shalelu's plan to climb a wall. Nothing could possibly go wrong with. Climbing's not a real skill.
Yeah, the skill that like none of us took any points in, so
How many times
Don't worry, I'm a monk. I got it. You just gotta convince her to do the thing where somebody leads the check and everybody else just kind of coasts on that.
I got one rank in climb.
I swear to fucking God.
It's clear it's not a real skill. What are you talking about?
I swear to God. I will leave you at the bottom of that wall. You will spend 4 sessions down there.
Getting flashbacks to goth girls.
See, if Kira makes it worse than I did, I will no longer get any shit. Kira is going to get all of it.
Fucking hours. It's like an hour or two. Both y'all, you're gonna get shit.
Okay.
Ismark drank Everclear, would not share it with the dog.
Yes, Ismark did drink Everclear and would not share it with the dog. It was
Don't want to kill the
reprehensible of
dog.
him, honestly.
The dog is having a good time.
Then we had a surprise at the very end of our session. Does anybody remember what that was?
Cody's
someone who made a wrong turn
at Albuquerque?
Cody's Parisian prostitute came back in town.
What?
The region. The region.
The region.
She's just an honest working girl, all right?
There's plenty of space for her in town. We all know this. There is a brothel.
Yep.
Also,
that's kind of the
French
main competition.
prostitute.
No, Parisian.
You're right. Sorry. Is the French accented, Parisian accented?
All right.
Oh.
So.
Because apparently, wherever the fuck she's from is sending people after Mez.
Yes, that is very important as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, you all wake up the next morning, having gotten, well, either a good sleep or maybe just a sufficient one, given everything that you've seen. It's a little hard to look on Sandpoint the same way, knowing what you now know about what lies beneath it and the sort of dangers that you've faced. A rune well brimming with wrath, torture chambers, a town icon like the Glassworks covered in blood. There's a lot for all of you to consider, and whether or not you're able to get a good night's rest in light of all of that is really up to you. Who would like to go first?
Don't everyone
Someone.
jump at once.
I know, right?
Right.
Jesus.
Do it. Just pick someone. Just
Anxiety.
kill someone right now. Do it.
Just pick someone.
Anyway,
Or
roll
die.
Sola.
like a d6 and go down the line.
Anyway, Sola.
Ah,
Does
God damn
Sola
it.
get a good night's rest?
I was low-key hoping for next session, man. Oh, let me put the solo hat on.
Does it have flowers in it?
No. No.
Damn.
Oh man.
I mean, probably, yeah. I mean, Sola's not happy about any of this, but she's good at taking things in stride.
That is what several centuries worth of memories and compartmentalization will teach you. So, Sola, as you wake up this morning, it's a regular morning in a lot of ways. The sun is out. It's a little warm, it occurs to you. Warmer than it usually is at this time of the year. We're approaching, it's mid-spring right now, and it's sort of more like a June day. It's hot out. It's a little humid. It strikes you as a little unusual, but not too much. Sometimes these things do happen after all, and with everything that you've been through, maybe the weather is also sympathetic. Your store is in good condition. Brisha and his family camped out here for the better part of the day yesterday, and, well, even though your windows are still broken and it might be a while before you can get a glass replacement owing to recent events, they've made do with a couple of planks and some gauzy curtains that kind of complete the look. It's not ideal by any means, but it could be worse. Seems all of your things are in place too. You're able to get a good breakfast. What does Sola have for breakfast?
It's probably usually pretty simple, just some like oatmeal with some like honey and such in it and some tea. Nothing fancy.
As you eat your oatmeal with honey, as usual, your familiars are right there by your side. Holly lays her head in your lap, and John keeps flying around trying to steal a bite or two of the oatmeal for himself, which is strange because he doesn't really like oatmeal, but he feels the need to anyway.
She probably just for the entertainment of it will sometimes try to avoid, sometimes just let him have some.
John has made great use of his ability to speak, but perhaps not what most people would deem efficient use of his ability to speak, because he does talk to himself a lot as he's flying about. And he does narrate his thoughts when he maybe shouldn't. It's very easy to coordinate when to pull away when you can hear him going, all right, I think this is my moment. I don't think she's paying attention. Okay, swoop in, nice and fast, in and out, easy job. He definitely thinks you can't hear him.
She will not say anything.
Matt, how is Hellebore doing this morning?
Elvor is doing great, just curled up on the hearth, being a dog. It's a long time since he got to be a dog. Kind of a guard dog, but not Can't really do that with being harangued by a goblin. So he's just glad to be able to sleep on some warm floorboards and not in a very dark, cold dungeon.
That's understandable. That's very understandable. So, as you prepare for your day this morning, where are you headed?
If I am remembering correctly, we said we would gather towards the evening to head off, so that most of the day
You're
was.
meeting in the evening.
Yeah. Okay. She probably has like a couple of like orders or things she needs to drop off, but we'll drop them off on the way across town, heading towards Cubert.
Broddard Quink.
Prodert. Fucking, I will never
I
remember
know
this
how much you
man's.
love the man's name.
I will never remember this man's name. I don't know what it is about it. It just like automatically deletes itself from my brain.
it it just eludes you immediately.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you've got quite a long walk. If you're looking at the Sandpoint map, obviously your house is labeled right down here. Quink's house is the one that is closest to the old light. It's this one here.
Yeah, so she'll just drop off things that are
So
along the way.
you've got quite some distance to cover, which gives you a good view of the town. In contrast to the extremely eventful night and day that you had yesterday, the town seems sleepier somehow, as if the news of what had happened has had everybody stay inside and consider perhaps whether or not they need to be out. You see more guards than usual, Brisha among them, who gives you a wave as you head on your way and makes sure to let you know that just give him a shout if you need your store watched. But for the most part, there's this pall that has fallen over the town. The people that you see out are the people who are what you might call essential workers. You see a half orc man who is picking up all of the refuse from the street, for instance. A fellow that you've seen around before more than once who has a hut up toward where the cathedral is, but in the shadow of the cathedral. Nobody really goes all that close to it, and he's known to start fights if anybody gets too close to him. So people tend to just let him be. You see the members of the town council on their way to the city hall to discuss matters. As you walk, you even see a couple of hastily made posters requesting that for the next few days, nobody leave their house after about 8 o'clock. What exactly it is that has happened is something that the townsfolk don't seem to know. You hear quite a few different things as you make your way downtown, uptown, as the case may be. There are people who simply think that there was a singular murder in the glassworks. There's people who seem to think that there was some sort of cave in, and that was why the guards were walking around with wheelbarrows full of stuff. Uh, but you know the grim truth of it. And as you walk past the glassworks, you almost smell the sense of burning still the next day. But you're able to make your way over to Quink's place without trouble. Is there anywhere in particular you would like to stop, or is it more just walking on over?
More just walking on over. She had intended to talk to him yesterday. That didn't happen. So she's doesn't want to get distracted again. Which I have a feeling like she might.
You walk past Ismark's house. Nothing happens. If you like, you can peer in through the windows and see Ismark and family having a nice regular breakfast. They seem pretty pleased. Cece is once more throwing what appears to be pasta around the kitchen. But other than that, they seem to be trying to manage it okay.
That child needs to be separated from the pasta. She's getting a little too attached to that.
Well, she's doing a great job of separating herself from the pasta. She's getting it real far away.
She is. She is. She's getting pretty good air too. Like it's a decent arc. You think she might have a future as a Blood Bowl player if she wants to.
Yeah, hell of an arm on this small child.
That's
Let's
what
take after
happens
her
when she's
father.
a quarter orc.
She's a quarter orc, a quarter redacted. Yeah, nobody stops you. Nothing stops you. You breathe a sigh of relief as you make your way over to Quink's cabin because there hasn't been any sort of catastrophe as you've made your way through town. There's no goblin attack. There's no accosting by any of the townsfolk. There's no crisis in the theater. Just a simple morning walk. And it appears that Quink's already up. You can see him through the window having his morning tea. But also through the window, you can see that you're not the first one to get to Quink's place. There's already somebody else there. Somebody that you recognize. Matt, would you like to describe Zabeel for us?
Someone you're pretty familiar with, Sabine Sorn. She's tall, dark skinned. Isn't something she lets on to most people, but has absolutely terrible eyesight. So she's usually wearing pretty large rimmed glasses that have tinted shades. No explanation for why they're tinted shades. It can't possibly help with reading in her bookshop, but she wears them anyway. Uh, Rather big for a half elf, raising a lot of questions about what the other half was, but her father left town some time back, leaving her with the store because her mother left not too long after. So she's been hoofing it on her own for a little bit.
Zabeel is a friend of yours. Runs the book club that you attend along with a couple of the other folks in town, some of the more academically inclined people. You've always known her to have a fairly level head. It's not unusual to see her here with Quank. What do you do, Sola?
She'll just kind of like, there's a little frown for a moment because she wasn't sure that she wanted, like, she's not sure that she wants to talk about everything with everybody, but yeah, it's Sabeel. Sabeel's not the worst to be there and might have some perspective on it. She just like shakes her head, and just knocks on the door. Hellebore is helping to uh,
You
hide
hear
Shola's shop.
rustling from the inside. Ah, yes. Hellebore is having dog hours. Very hard earned dog hours. Uh, you hear shuffling behind the door, and Quink stands up and goes to get it. He is an old human. Not nearly as old as you are, Sola, but old for a human. Uh, Very long beard, a scholarly look to him. He's a quiet guy, mostly interested in the study of the old light. And as you stand before him with your familiars in tow, he gives you a warm smile Sola, it's good to see you. You know, I can't remember the last time I had this many visitors.
Sola just kind of smiles and gives a little nod. Yes, well, I was hoping to have a conversation. I hope I am not interrupting anything.
Quink narrows his eyes a little bit and gestures for you to come inside. It seems quite a few people in town have been wanting to have conversations. Can I offer you a cup of tea?
Yes, that would be lovely. Thank you. And she'll kind of give a little nod to Sabine.
Quink leads you in and starts to head over to the little cart on which he keeps all of his tea accoutrements. He has one pot already having been warmed up for Sabine, who has that in front of her, should she so wish to have some tea. And Quink starts looking through his canisters, of which there are many. Ah, looks all out. Barley tea. Can I offer you some silver needle instead?
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
He sets about making the tea. Meanwhile, in this scholarly cabin, just filled to the brim with books and has that faint odor both of old parchment and, well, old person, uh, Sabine is sitting, probably having just been in the middle of a conversation herself, but more importantly to you, Sola, perhaps for the moment, you do spot the cat. Sahedron is curled up in Sabile's lap.
So just kind of like it moves to kind of sit across the chair that she knows that like Brodart is not in or was not sitting in earlier, and just kind of keeps Holly close and sits down. It is good to see that I am not the only one that rises early these days.
Well, so you're looking well.
Solo just kind of head side to side for a second, as well as I can be.
Yeah, it's just being polite. You not sleeping too well these days?
I wouldn't say that. There have been some interesting dreams recently, and some interesting activities.
Well, that makes two of us.
And there's just a little tilt of the head. Are elves also like in D&D where they don't really sleep?
Well, Sabine is half elf.
So she does
So
sleep.
she half sleeps.
You probably know Sabine well enough to know that she does not sleep well. She's chronic insomniac, as a matter of fact.
Ah, I see where Matt is drawing inspiration from.
Real life experience.
And Sola just kind of tilts her head a little bit. I don't know if you need any sleeping tonics or teas. You can always ask.
Sabine thinks on it a bit. Well, rubbing Sahedron's head. Got anything for strange dreams?
That I am less able to help with.
Figures. You'd be taking that yourself, wouldn't you?
Sola just kind of hums and leans back in her chair a bit. So, if you are also having strange dreams, what was yours about?
Well, funniest thing, you'd walk in, because you were in it. 3 of you.
There's just a single brow that goes up, but there is no comment.
What? Too weird?
Not the strangest thing I have heard, but yeah, I can assure you I am no dream walker myself, so I did nothing to do that.
Can you assure me you haven't been getting into trouble?
Less me getting in trouble and more of me trying to keep others out of trouble.
That sounds like trouble to me.
Perhaps, but sometimes the differentiation is important.
You know, you make it real hard to worry about you.
And it's just a kind of a thin smile. Yeah, I have it easy. Anything happens to me, I just come back anyway.
Still feel like dying ain't so great for you.
It's just kind of it's a one-shouldered shrug. Ah, it is not fun, but still much less permanent than all of you.
Yeah. If you kick the bucket, we'd all miss Sola, whoever came by after her.
As if to echo Sabiel's sentiments, Sahedron, the Sphinx cat, I don't know if I specified that, but it's very important to me that Sahedron is a Sphinx cat. So please keep that in mind and react accordingly. Rolls over out of Sabiel's lap and starts heading towards Sola. But Holly just stares at Sahedron for a little bit. They seem to be at an impasse, some sort of silent conversation going on between the two.
So just pat Holly on the head. Not 100% sure what's going on, but like, okay, we're not gonna pick a fight right now. And kind of looks back to looks blah English. She looks back to Sabil after a second, and the kind of thin smile comes back. What if there are 3 of me in your dream, what exactly were we doing then?
Well, bear with me a bit. So, you and me were climbing a tower in this strange looking city. Except it was like we were climbing out of the sky, but toward the ground. You get me?
She nods.
And thought things were going all right. And then you lost your grip and fell straight up towards the ground.
And what I split in three.
No, a second Sola showed up who sounded different than you, and we kept going. And then it happened again, and then a third.
And she just kind of leans forward a little bit, kind of elbows placed on the table, fingers kind of interlacing. That is certainly a strange one.
When it came the third's turn, we were nearing the top or bottom or whatever, and saw a sand point, and was on fire again, and there was some sort of scuffle going on. You were there, Easmark was there, and he was on fire. Knew Alia was back. So, what the hell is going on here?
And you see that Sola has kind of lifted her interlaced fingers kind of to press against her lips and is considering. And there's just this long silence before she shakes her head a little bit. Well, I think I need to ask this if you want me to answer. Are you prepared to get involved potentially in some chaos?
Well, you know what Rory says. Never turn down from a challenge.
And there's just a little smirk when she nods. Are you know about the goblin attack at the Asturias?
I mean, I know about it, which is about as much to say as I know about as much as everyone else. So I know that I've heard too many damn things that couldn't all possibly be true.
That goblin attack is the... What is the term for this? Scouting party, perhaps? Only the first wave.
And I'm guessing that means, you know, a second one is coming.
The second one I think we just managed to kill at the Glassworks yesterday. That one is all of them.
Too much to hope there won't be a third, I take it.
She just shakes her head. We know where the massive goblins and other... I want to say allies, but I don't know if we can call them allies. But those that are fighting with the goblins. We know where they are gathering. We hope to dissuade them from attacking.
Well, being trained all my life to sit on my duff while that happens. Count me in.
It's just kind of a brow that goes up again. So you want to tag along?
Yeah, I'll tag.
Then you should also know that it is not just goblins.
Never is it?
How much do you know of Lamashtu and Sinwells?
Roll me a knowledge check, why don't you?
What flavor?
Hey,
Religion.
this is the first Pathfinder first edition roll of the new year?
Yeah, actually, is it?
Yep.
I think it is.
We didn't roll at all last session.
Starting the year off with a perfectly average roll, a 10.
Perfectly average. I mean, that makes sense for a fucking Taoist, though, doesn't it?
Lawful neutral roll.
The most neutral roll possible. So, Sabine, you know plenty about Lavash too. You know more than what the average person would know. You're aware of her status as a hoe-scaring god, her providence over disease, mutations, motherhood for some reason, also fertility for some reason. Just terrible things. Terrible,
Goddess
terrible
of
things.
making it weird.
Yes, the goddess of making it weird is a good point. You are also quite familiar with Sinwells, so you don't have to roll with for that. It's not a word you've heard in a very long time, though.
Yeah, I know more than I'd like to about both of those. Though, what worries me more is you bringing them up.
Sola just kind of nods and sighs. Yes, really. The goblins that we are going to try and dissuade from attacking are gathering under the banner of Lamashtu. And she has somehow been connected to a Sinwell that was under the city until yesterday.
As you say this, Sola, Quink returns with a tray of tea, and you mention a Sinwell under the city, and his eyes go wide, and he looks between the two of you. Now, please tell me my ears aren't what they used to be, and I did not just hear you say that there's a Sinwell beneath Sandpoint.
You didn't hear nothing.
He nods. Oh, it would be a real problem if that were the case. So I'm glad to hear that it's not. Sometimes, you know, my brain plays a couple tricks on me. He sets the tray down and holds out a cup of tea to you, Sola.
Sola will take the tea very carefully, thank him, and will take a sip before she sets it down. What exactly is the flavor of this concern? Should there have been a Cinderella under the city?
Oh, well, there's all manner of concerns. It would depend on whose Sinwell it was, primarily speaking. He pushes his glasses up. As you see, Thessalonian magic was keyed to each of the seven sins, and each of the seven Sinwells, the types of Sinwells that is, would be overflowing with the energy of that particular sin. If it were something simple like sloth, probably the easiest thing we could have to hope for to deal with, then one would expect that the entire town would be overtaken by waves of languid energy. But say if it were envy, that would really stir the place up.
What about the scene like a wrath?
He goes still for a moment. Wrath. Wrath would be the worst thing. It would mean that all of us in town would be exposed to irrational bouts of anger, embitterment of the spirit. The Runelord of Wrath was one of the last to die during the Earthfall.
So it just kind of shoots Sibylle, like, kind of pointed look, and takes another sip of her tea. Speaking of the old magics, I have something I would like to ask you about that is very, very rare. I don't know if it has anything to do with the. Was it an empire or a kingdom?
Yes, Thessalonian Empire.
I don't know if it has anything to do with the empire per se, but it is something that I have come across that I'm curious about.
Well, if it's got anything to do with the Empire, I can probably help you out.
Where's my note for this? What the fuck was the plant called?
It was Light of Humanity.
Yeah. Okay. And she just nods. Have you ever heard of a plant called the light of humanity?
There's another pause from Quink. He blinks a couple times. Makes a very Obi-Wan like expression. Old Obi-Wan, that is. Not young. Light of Humanity? Now, where did you hear of that? I've been trying to convince some of my colleagues back at the University of Absalom of its use during the Empire, but I haven't had all that much success. When I tell them that it was part of a weapon, a massive weapon, the likes of which they can't even imagine, they claim that I have no historical basis for saying so. I don't suppose you would happen to have a sample, would you?
And there's just a tiny frown as he is saying this. And she shakes her head. I have no sample, no, unfortunately. I have just overheard of it. And I've heard rumors of it in other places, but I've never come across it personally. You understand my interest. It being a plant of such power.
Yes, it's quite unusual among fauna. We have a great deal of writings from Thassalon about the matter. There's plenty of debate to this day exactly what it looked like and how it was deployed, but if you ask me, there are remnants in the soil around the old light that appear to be charred in a manner quite similar to volcanic ash. It's my thinking that the old light must have had something to do with it, that it wasn't a light at all, but some sort of cannon.
So it just kind of leans back. She is absorbing this. As single finger kind of tapping the table. So you think that this was used as a weapon? However, if it is around the lighthouse, that means it was a weapon against Imperial buildings, yes?
It was a weapon against, what was that?
Imperial buildings.
Imperial building. Well, yes and no. The Runelords were given to a great deal of internal squabbling. It's part of what got in the way when the Earthfall happened. They were all too busy with their own uh, internal strife to be prepared for it properly. And so, despite their massive power, well, they died just like everything else that was in the wave of the asteroid. It's my theory that this light was used as part of the Rune Lord of Rat's realm to fight back the encroachments of the Rune Lord of Greed, whose supposed territory is not too far from here.
Hmm. Sola just tilts her head a little bit. So if there is enough conflict over what belonged to who, it is impossible that even Sand Point could have been under the control of the Rude Lord of Greed at some point, yes?
The records are murky, you understand, being as old as they are, but it stands to reason.
As powerful of magic as they had, and things like Sinwell's being actual objects for them. Is it possible that that magic seeped a little bit deeper into our surroundings than we realize?
Oh, supposing that the Sinwells were about, there are plenty of spaces in Varisia where there were said to be Sinwells, and settlements near them almost always begun to complain of the thing's influence, whether or not they knew what it was at the time. Consider not too far from here, toward the northern part of Varisia, closer to Corvosa, really, there was an incident where an entire town divided into two because they all decided that they should. Well, there was a dispute over who should be mayor, and if you can believe it, it turned into a bit of a bloodbath. I would expect to see something of that sort if, well, we were unfortunate enough to have fallen under the influence of a Sinwell ourselves.
And would Sola have any idea of like connections between infernal and or, like demons and shit with the Rune Lords and their magic?
You can roll me a history check. Sibyl would also probably know something about that and be able to make a history check if you asked her as well.
So knowledge history.
Yes.
Hey, that is a 24.
All right. So with the 24, you're aware that there are an awful lot of rumors about Rune Lords making pacts. They were very ambitious, all of them, even the Rune Lord of Sloth, and always in search of new ways to augment their powers. So it wouldn't be unheard of, and as a matter of fact, you've heard a great deal of theories that they did corrupt with demons. As for matters of historical fact, well, that's a little bit harder to pin down. Was it demons? Was it devils? Was it something else? Well, different records have different opinions on the matter.
And have you heard anything about connections between Lamashtu and the Thessalonian Empire? Where's the gods?
He frowns and then tilts his head, lets out a cautious chuckle. Now, that's not a question I have ever heard posed before, not in all my ears. No, I can't say that there is much report of Lamashtu having anything to do with the Runelords.
Salil nod. Are Holly and the cat still in a standoff?
Yes.
I think as she's leaning back, she'll look down and check on Holly again and see, was it Sahedron?
Yes.
See Sahedron still sitting under the table. Kind of tilt her head. I don't think you ever told me how you ended up with Sahedron.
He laughed. Oh, that's actually Sabine over there would probably be the person to ask about that.
Just gold eyes shift over to Sabil very expectantly.
What, me?
We do have partial custody.
Yeah, I guess I do. Have I not told you this before, Sola? Hadron's my second mom's familiar from, back before she did it. Come to think, he's not been acting too much like a familiar. Guess the bond breaks after that. Just a normal cat.
Sahedron turns to look at Sabine as she says that.
Don't you look at me like that.
Sahedron continues to look at you like that.
How you gonna look at me like that?
Yeah, that makes some sense. I don't know how you saw me in your dream. I saw Sahedron in mine.
Well, if we really stretch things, this cat has seen a Sinwell.
Brow goes up. Silent question.
Sahedron seems to sit a little straighter and preen and enter worship me cat mode.
Steel sighs and scratches the edge of his neck just underneath his cheek.
He is pleased with this.
Yeah, my parents didn't want it to get around too much because they're looking for a quieter life, but they were part of a group, Sahedrons. My other mom, I don't think you wouldn't have met her, actually led the group. They were supposed to have closed the Sinwell of Pride, but looking like it's hard to tell if those things are closed for good.
And the Sinwills have a tendency to do strange things to animals, as I have learned.
You telling me there's something wrong with this cat?
Sahedron looks at you, Sola.
I might not say wrong, but perhaps different even than a familiar is normally.
Sahedron, you've been holding out on me.
Sahedron gets up and jumps on top of one of the bookshelves and enters loaf mode.
Hell, you weren't in my dream.
There's no response from the cat, who is above you now.
You know, if you would like to actually do some work as a familiar again, and you know something I don't, it would be appreciated.
Sahedron's ear flicks. You think you see his head turning slightly toward you, Solva.
And she starts. I think on it a bit, so I would appreciate it being a face-to-face meeting and not in my dreams.
He looks away, flicks his tail.
You're a real Casanova when it comes to animals, aren't you?
Yeah. You never know what animals are. Yes. Or normally not and not. Better to just talk sort of them like they are a person.
That sounds exhausting.
So shrugs a little bit. Yeah. Sometimes it might be, but I find them generally less exhausting than some people can be.
Don't worry, I won't tell him you said that.
Sola, Sabine, do you have any more questions for each other or for Quink?
I feel like I'm going to think of questions like after session is over.
You can feel free to do that if you want. If you think of anything, either to ask Quink or to ask Sabine, feel free. If it's something to Sabine, you can ask Matt or ask in the Rise of the Runelords channel. And if you want to ask things of Quink, feel free to DM me. Because you've got plenty of time here.
Yeah, good to pass the baton for now.
Same. I think she would want to like pick up a book or two from Quink.
Mhm.
And I think Solo would actually want to like before we go riding off to go fight goblins. If he thinks that the burns around the cast or around the lighthouse were from this light of humanity, she would want to go inspect that a little bit closer, but we don't have to do that right now.
Yeah, sure. That's something that we can come back to or check back in on, I think.
Yeah.
But you can definitely grab a sample of the soil. All right. With that, we turn our attention up Tower Street, make a right, zoom on down to the Ward House. Ismark, how did you sleep last night?
It was middling at best. Like that entire dungeon rubbed me the wrong way. Is not good. There was probably at least one or two times in the middle of the night where you know that kind of vibe where you wake up and you're just like, I can't be in bed right now. I have to be out of bed and away from bed. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here staring at the ceiling like a weirdo. And so you get up and like go to the kitchen and get water and then reassess how to go to sleep and then go back to bed. It was one of those kind of nights.
Well, whenever you got back up, sometimes it would be Cece who would also be awake at the same time as you, and the two of you would just kind of look at each other in the middle of the night. And Cece wouldn't really know what was wrong, but would just start kind of clapping her hands together for patty cake time because she felt like
Aw.
it would cheer you up.
It would.
Sometimes it would be Ginny who would be awake and who would, with one of her hands, just gently pull you back into bed and wrap you up in extreme big spoon, little spoon cuddles. Warm and solid as she is, it's very easy to forget the things that you saw down there in her embrace because nothing can really reach you here, packed as you are by mounds and mounds of muscle.
Perfect.
Of course, morning comes too soon for any new parent, and you're a little tired, but still well rested for the purposes of rules as written when you get up in the morning. And, well, you've still got breakfast to get through. Cece is feeling particularly rowdy this morning, whether that's because she spent part of her evening trying to help you out or because of whatever mood has struck her remains to be seen. But Ginny, in between trying to get her to settle down, does keep looking at you with concern. Hopi, are you sure you're okay?
What? Yeah. Like, I'm doing okay. Last night and, all the business yesterday, I mean, it's a lot, but it's over and done with. And, it ain't gonna come back. So,
Do you tell your wife what you do at work, Ismark?
I think it depends. It definitely depends. The visceral, like, the really, really intense stuff doesn't get covered except to say, like, today was a hard day, right? But he would say at least enough to give her an idea of, like, yeah, today I had like a pretty know nothing day. I did this kind of job. So she would be aware that he's, like, when he was a guard, he'd done work of dealing with murders and assault and, like, any sort of typical violent crime. And then since then, he's kind of gotten into the habit of, like, sparse details. But Jenny would know, like, if he had said the previous day, like, yeah, there was an assault on whatever street, and then he comes back and he's like, oh, it was,
Is a
dealing
bad
with,
one.
it is a bad one. It's worse than just a standard two people got into a fight, one of them had a knife, maybe.
And I assume it was like that last night.
Oh yeah.
And as you say that you're fine, Ginny purses her lips and bounces Cece up on against her. Are you sure? Because I can always go along with you. You know I don't mind.
No. And he doesn't like stand up aggressively out of his chair, but like enthusiastically, Ismark will stand and he's like, no. You don't have to do that. You want to be here, right? Like, this is with Jenny or with Cece and, enjoying, like, the easy life. And that's why I want to do, all that out there. And he, like, gestures to the front door like it's a portal to another dimension. It's like, that's what I want to do. I want to provide for you so that you can do what you love and I do what I love. Like, what I love to do is a little hard times, but most of the time it's okay.
Ginny continues bouncing Cece for a little bit, and she reaches up and she pinches your cheek, Ismark. And she goes, "Oh, I don't really know if I would call this easy. Cece's very adventurous." Cece giggles at this. "But I gotta say, I am really happy here. Yeah, I know you don't really talk about details, but I hope whatever's going on isn't too bad, Hopey. I like this little place we've built for ourselves.
Ismark looks very like committed and stalwart, and he'll say, "Yeah, it's. I can't lie to you. You can see right through me, but it's not easy. But you know what? I got a big group of people here. They're all kind of, eccentric in their own ways, but I got a group of people here that do real good work. I mean, Shalelu and Shaydris, and of course Zola, Anti-Sola. He says that more to CC. It's like, I got a whole crew outside of just, Baylor and the city guard here. Like, I'm not doing it alone, thankfully. If I was on my own out there, with some of the guys back in Magnamar, he kind of shrugs and with like kind of waffles his head and hands back and forth. Like he doesn't have enemies that he worked with, but it's like when you learn a group of friends you used to have is really toxic, and you're like, yeah, they were okay, and what you really mean is like they had some dodgy ideas, but they're not here anymore. We're away from them physically, geographically. We're away from them, so it's fine. And he's like, yeah, if it was those guys back in Magnamar, it'd be a little different. It'd be a lot harder to deal with. But we got good people here, and it's doable. Not easy, but doable.
As you say this, Ginny opens her mouth to respond, but it's actually Cece who beats her to the punch. Dada, are you staying home today?
Oh, then Ismark, like, just there's a visible deflate, and he just goes, "Sorry, sweetie, I gotta run by and talk to someone that Baylor's holding on to for me, but it won't take me long, and I'll be back. I'll see if I can't convince, maybe Auntie Sola to come visit. It's
This
really
child,
easy to get her to come visit."
this child looked heartbroken. Her heart just sank when you said that you would be away again. But as soon as you mention Auntie Sola, she does seem to brighten up a little bit, and she pouts. Will you promise? Because you said you'd be home yesterday, and it was so late when you got back.
Ismark is like suffering from internal emotional damage, and he wants to like bend over at the midsection and just try to clutch that wound and all and heal it, but he doesn't, and he just goes, I know, I'm sorry, and I didn't mean to wake you up, even though you should have been asleep, but um I promise, I cross my heart, promise on, and he'll grab like a stuffed animal nearby. He's like, I promise, cross my heart on Winston. And he like wiggles the stuffed whatever, like a stuffed
Owlbear.
owlbear. He's like, cross my heart on Winston. And he wiggles Winston. It's like, I will be back at a reasonable time tonight before you go to bed.
Ginny kisses Cece on the forehead and leans in to whisper in a conspiratorial fashion that you can very clearly hear. And if he doesn't come back at a reasonable time, me and Winston will track him down and drag him back home.
Ismark, like, just a little bit of nervous sweat on the side of his head. He's like, yeah. And your mom, she can lift me and the people I'm with just in both hands. She could maybe do it in one hand, but they might be too hard to grab without using both hands, but she could grab everyone involved and bring them all back. So even if we're all really stubborn, we still get brought back home,
Cece holds out her hand as if to handshake.
Ismark will hold out like just his pinky and go for a pinky promise.
She does not quite yet have the dexterity for a pinky promise. She's working on it. But she does shake your pinky, and she puts on an expression that you see a bit of yourself in as she goes, "Yeah, deal's a deal."
Ismark he laughs and like kind of drops his head for a second in the laughter, and he's like, "The deal is absolutely deal is the deal." And he looks up at Ginny as if to ask, like, "Is that okay?"
Ginny winks at you and smiles. "Well, you shouldn't go out there without getting your new present, though. We spent all night on it."
He blinks for a second, kind of surprised. He's like, "Present, new present. What do you make? What did you make? You don't have to make me nothing."
She points with her chin toward the coat rack by the door. And you can see there, Eastmark, is a very fancy new coat. It's double breasted, and the buttons are shining silver with W's on them.
Ismark looks over and he'll like walk over to it, get about halfway there and turn around, and he like looks over his shoulder at Jenny and he's like, "You made this? You made this for me?"
Well, it wasn't easy, and I got a little help. But yeah, I did. You're always talking about how hard it is to hold on to all of your stuff, so I did a little conspiring, put something together for you.
He'll take it and like grab it off of the rack and do the big Devil May Cry Dante put the coat on gesture where you swing it around and like loop both arms through the sleeves.
Extremely based.
And as he does that, it's like a perfect fit, I imagine, or at least mostly, considering Ginny had help. It might not be a perfect fit.
No, it is a perfect fit, as a matter of fact. And Ismark, as you put it on, it smells very strongly of perfume. Not Ginny's perfume, but very fancy perfume.
Do I recognize that smell?
Make me a knowledge local.
Okay. That's gonna be 29.
Jesus Christ!
Listen. You say knowledge. I say how high.
I have a fucking deadly. You can identify this by two notes in particular, one of which is ambergris, which is extremely expensive, very hard to get a hold of, but commonly used in perfumes. There's only one person in town who would have cause to buy perfume with ambergris in it, let alone means to buy perfume with ambergris in it. And the other thing that you smell is pomegranate. Very rich, very hard to get around these parts. This is the perfume of the madam of the brothel,
The
whom you've
madam of
seen,
the brothel.
whom you've seen a couple times coming out of Baylor's office for completely legitimate reasons.
Ismark, he puts it on, and his face is like he's like just delighted. His expression lights up with just joy, and he's super excited about it. And he almost comments on it, and then he gets the whiff of that perfume, and then you can like it catches him off guard to the point where I was gonna say he can't hide his facial expressions anyway. He's got 8 charisma. He can't hide his facial expressions, so he like noticeably like kind of he doesn't scrunch his nose, but he sniffs, and you can see the thought process, like the gears turning. And he goes, "Who?" And he'll like kind of bring his shoulder closer to his nose and stiff. He's like, "Who did you get to help you with this?"
Oh, well, I just went over, down by where Sola is. One of her neighbors was really nice, and when I mentioned I was working on the project, she offered to help. Nice lady. Her name's, I think it's Kay? Ismark the brothel madam's name is Kay.
Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, I've run into her a time or two, and Evemark is like weighing the pros and cons of telling his wife and child, like, yeah, this is partially commissioned by the brothel owner, and he's like, yeah, she's great. She's a lovely lady. You know what? I'm glad you ran into her. I bet she, yeah, she's lovely. And this, and he just like holds out both of his arms. He's like, and this is incredible.
Ismark,
Thank you.
it really is incredible. It fits you perfectly, and you can feel that it's reinforced in some spots too, to give you a bit extra protection while you're out there. And most notable of all, when you stick your hands in the pockets, you know how usually you can feel the bounds of the pockets? That's not the case here. It feels as if you've stuck your hand into a box instead, because you can't feel any walls around it.
Oh, I imagine he has one hand, like checks the pockets, like messes with the button flaps, and then goes and sticks one hand in a pocket, and he just like sinks down to his elbow, and he's like, "How deep are these pockets? How deep do these go?"
Ginny grins. They're as deep as they need to be, Hopi. That's why I needed her help. I heard about these, like, magical bags and whatnot that adventurers have, and I thought maybe I should get you something like that, but stylish. And, well, Kay seemed so stylish that I thought I'd ask her. She suggested we work with the pockets a little bit.
Ismark, like, again, more dumbfounded than before. Like, not only did she get a handmade, like, made to size for him coat that looks really, really slick, it also is magic, and he's just blown away by it, and he'll kind of in a happy stupor, he like walks forward and will put both hands on each of sides of a Ginny's face, and he'll give her like a kiss on both cheeks and then one on the lips. He's like, "Thank you. This is amazing. You're amazing, and you." And he rubs Cece's hair and messes it up really badly, and then we'll kiss her on the forehead. He's like, "And you're amazing. You both are the best women I could ever hope to meet." And he like pulls on the edges of the coat, just kind of admiring it.
It's a very finely made coat, and as you get ready to head out, Ginny wraps you up, lifts you up a little bit, gives you another kiss. Get home safe today, okay?
He nods. Absolutely.
Ismark, where are you headed now that you're out the door?
Ismark is in probably the best mood that he has ever been in since the start of the campaign. So he's gonna press his luck. He's gonna go see a man about a noble. We're gonna go visit.
Foxglove?
Above table. Yeah, he was gonna go visit Foxglove, but above table,
Mhm.
did we agree to not go alone?
I think you said you wanted. I think there was talk of somebody coming along for that.
Yeah, I can't remember who.
Do we have anybody else in the group who remembers that discussion?
Sola
Let me see if I
advised
wrote it
him
down.
Sola advised him to not go alone, however, nobody volunteered in that moment. So it was more of a, like, go find somebody to, like, go with you.
So, Ismark,
Okay.
who are you trying to hunt down here?
Well, Ismark is thinking back. He steps outside and starts like in a automatic, autopilot brain fashion, starts walking towards Baylor's like the office, right? And as he's walking, he's just like thinking to himself, like, okay, Foxglove he's definitely one of those kind of guys. And he tries to recall, like, he hit on literally everyone except Sola. So he's gonna be taking a gamble on if he brings anyone else, because if he brings someone like Shay, who's pretty scary if you know her and if you piss her off, but how, like, is the scary going to be able to eclipse Foxglove's weird? That's like Ismark is doing the mental math on, like, now how likely is it that Shay threatens him with violence and he's like, I'm into it, because it's gonna just kill any potential she has at helping the situation by being there. Aside from being like a person to keep Ismark physically safe.
Well, Shadress is heading to the cathedral today, and she would have to head through some of the same streets Ismark would head. So it would be easy to bump into her if you would like. There's also Sola, but Sola's currently having a pleasant tea time, so you'd have to extricate her from that.
Ismark is going to gamble on Shay, because Shay is he's gonna gamble on Shay because if Ismark goes to Sola, and Sola's like, when I said get someone to go with you, I meant someone who could like physically protect you if something goes like dangerously wrong. And then Ismark's gonna be like, well, shit, now I have to walk all the way to the other side of town. So he also, above table, is respecting her tea time.
All right. So, Shayatras, as you are waking up at the Rusty Dragon, making your way toward the cathedral, as I imagine was your plan, you were instructed to speak to Father Xanthus after all. You spot Ismark, looking as happy as can be, in a fancy new coat you've never seen him wearing before.
Ah, well, she knows Ismark. So he gets the customary Shay greeting of nod as she continues walking.
Ismark sees her, and he does that thing where he doesn't run, but he like hustles a little bit. You know the thing when you like go across a crosswalk and there's someone there, and you're just like, oh yeah, sorry, I'll just walk slightly faster. So he catches up to Shay, and he'll throw up a hand and be like, hey, listen, I'm gonna head to Baylor's office, and I want to hit up that Foxglove guy, see if he's got any info, because I mean, in Magnamar, there was some weirdness going on at Foxglove Manor, and he kind of tilts his head and just goes, and to honor Sola's wishes, she said I shouldn't go alone. So, if you're free, would you mind accompanying me to this, I'm not going to call it an interrogation, but it's kind of an interrogation.
Imagine, you said he like walk, like what? Does he like stop her?
Yeah, either he'll like signal for her to stop, or he'll like catch up to her and walk with her.
Okay. She just looks at him. She's like, okay, I'm following. He's like, wait. Like, question. Who's Foxglove?
Oh, Foxglove. Right. You probably didn't catch his name. Foxglove is well, Ismark realizes now that he has to explain. Like, oh boy. He stops and just goes, you remember the guy who said something exotic beauties?
There's a twitch in Shay's eyebrows.
Yeah, there you go. Him.
How?
Yeah.
Great.
Ismark kind of like flinch smiles and he was like, yeah.
Now, May points to herself.
Yeah. For interrogation. Are
She looks
you
at Ismark.
game?
She looks at Ismark. As she looks, I imagine the cathedral's in the distance.
Yes,
She
the
can see it.
cathedral is in the distance. You can see it from any part of town. So you can see it.
She
But
can see it.
also, remember Sola's disappointment if you say no.
It looks like Shay just really like wants to say like, yeah, no. But then she looks at Ismark again, and there's just this like, I don't know, shift in her shoulders as she kind of just like lets out a sigh as she kind of just takes the end of her braid and just kind of like twirls it around a finger as she kind of just like tilts her head back. Community. Fine. All right. Now?
Yeah, if you like I said, if you're not busy, he just kind of gestures to your feet and just the vague direction forward that you were walking.
Technically, I can do that later, but yeah, just lead the way. Sure, why not?
So you follow. Oh god.
No, that's like Ismark just like claps his hands again and he's like, great, perfect. Like totally not picking up on the vibe of like, yeah, I'd rather be doing something else, but I guess I'll help you. He just takes that as an emphatic, like, sure.
There's just Shay is just like, God damn fucking rascal. And it's fucking cook your community first above all else.
So just those thoughts echo in your head as you follow Ismark up the hill that leads to the posh part of town. You're serving your community, you tell yourself with every step. You're serving your community. You're serving your community. But thankfully, the White Stag is not very far from the cathedral. It's over here. The White Stag is extremely posh. It's almost has the look of more like a hotel than a tavern, really. It's one of the bigger buildings in the area, very sturdily built. They actually rebuilt it in the aftermath of the fire, which consumed most of the houses that are in this area here. None of them are very old. And you can see a little plaque in the corner commemorating both that it was rebuilt and that it was rebuilt with the help of some investors. Did you guys roll me a perception check?
Oh, let's go. Machine.
Ah. Perception, you say?
Yes, perception.
I can open my feet. That'd be nice.
21.
21.
It's gonna be a 26.
26. Well, you both spotted amidst this list of names that is carved so tiny as to be almost unreadable, especially in passing as the two of you are. But you kept sight of it all the same. Aldern Foxglove is listed as one of the investors.
Uh-huh.
it's a fairly spacious place. If you head in, you'll find that it's really built more like a restaurant on the inside. There's the counter right up front, and there's a wide array of tables set toward the back with leather backings on all of them. There are booths, there's a bar polished to a mirrored shine with mahogany wood. There's portraits all along the walls of various people in town, also imaginings of Thessalonian empires and cities, and forest scenes among them too. You can pretty easily spot Foxglove. He's toward the back of the White Stag in a elevated platform that has the air of a VIP booth, given the gauzy curtains that kind of hang in front of it. But there's kind of no mistaking the foppishness of that silhouette. There's a young girl, maybe 16, 17, who is standing at the counter, who clearly did not expect anybody to be coming in at this current moment. It's a little before you would expect the brunch rush. She's wiping the counter down, looks to be trying to look over the list of reservations for the day. This is supposed to be the dead part between rushes. She looks up and she sees the two of you, clutches her clipboard close, and goes, hi. Sorry, how can I help you? Welcome to the White Stag. Do you have a reservation?
No. Do we need a reservation? I don't. Listen. We're here to look, talk to a particular guy. Foxglove.
She doesn't look immediately over toward Foxglove, but you can see the twitch of her eye wanting to before her sense kicks in, and she looks down, thinks for a second. I don't know about that. Mr. Foxglove is pretty private.
Listen. I respect most people's privacy, but in this particular case, Ismark doesn't have a badge of any kind, does he?
I would say if you don't have a badge, because that would be a little too formal, you probably have one of those, like, I am a friend of the cops cards.
Courtesy card.
Yeah, like a card that you can show. I'll say you have.
Yeah, some symbol of like vague, not full authority, but a little authority as a treat. Ismark will flash that, like, basically temp cop badge thing.
She looks to it, and you can see her eyes go a little wider as she tries to figure out if she's paid enough to argue with you over this. She decides that she's not. All right, official business then. Do you want me to get them, or do you want to just go straight in? This isn't going to be too loud, is it? Because
Oh no, it won't be too loud, and well, we'll surprise him.
okay, but I didn't let you in.
Ismark blinks, like he just tilts his head. What? You didn't?
No,
Oh.
I didn't. She says.
He nods, understanding, and he just goes, right. Didn't let. Got it. He gives her the okay, like almost missing the catch there.
God. Both of these characters dumped charisma.
Fine.
Oh my fucking god. It's too late now. We're in it.
So you can head on in, and Shadras, as you pass this girl, she very clearly looks at you as if she's never seen you in her life, because she probably hasn't. And she catches sight of your shadow, and she's just sort of, you see her do a double take, and then look back to the clipboard. Not her business, not her business.
Imagine Shay is just very blasé about it. She's like, new one.
Quietly as you're walking by, you hear her go, I've been here 6 months.
And she'll follow Ismark. She's like, fucking, this is your shit. I'm just here. I would like to not be perceived that I'm here.
That is deeply unfortunate for you, Shayadrez, because the second that the two of you come within seeing distance, as soon as Foxglove can make out the two of you, he is already on his feet. And although you can't quite see his smile through the curtains that have somewhat obscured him, you can hear the smile in his voice. Ah, is that Miss Shayadrez, if I don't miss my guess?
I feel like she's low-key offended that he remembered her name. But fucking Mako didn't. I feel like, how far away is he?
I'd say about 2 yards.
Oh, okay. Imagine just like, fucking, before he gets too close, Ismark just hears a, you owe me so much.
Ismark, like, he just very like casually smiles and gives Foxglove a wave, trying to pick up the like, hey, no, pay attention to me, and then will, through kind of gritted teeth, be like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, imagine she's just neutral, gives a nod, a single nod of acknowledgement. As she just lets Ismark take over here.
He stands and clears the curtain, gestures for the two of you to come in, and it is indeed a very lavish booth. The table here is carved and decorated with ornate designs, and you can actually see the name Foxglove carved into the side of this table in particular. He is dressed once again in the same blue coat that you saw him in from last time. You're both entitled to make a perception check, though.
Love to hear it with these characters.
Yeah, I know. I might as well just fucking give you his fucking stat block.
Let's fucking
That's
go.
gonna be a nat 20.
Christ alive.
That's gonna be a 30.
I got a 26.
Why do I bother?
You have your fucking detective and fucking bloodhound.
Why do I bother?
If this dude, he manages to hide literally anything, he fucking earned it.
Dude, honestly, it's not just for protection. Shay's a lie detector.
Yep. As you approach, you notice some things about Mr. Foxglove here. Shayadress, you notice that he seems very tired. There are lines under his eyes, and there's a redness to the sclera that speaks to either long nights or hard nights. You're not entirely sure which. You notice that there's something off about his suit as well. It takes you a second to study it because normally you don't care about men or fashion, but you do care about jewelry. And he was wearing quite a bit of it the last time you saw him. A mother of pearl tie tack, for instance, a very stately ring on his right hand, as well as a far more ornate one on the left. He was also carrying a walking stick last time you saw him, but all of that is gone now. You're not entirely sure why, but it does strike you as strange. Ismark, I will give you this because you have more familiarity with Bagnamar. One of the rings that you also spot as having been missing was the Foxglove family's signet ring.
Interesting.
But he smiles at the two of you and snaps his fingers, calls out to a server you can't see, and goes, "A bottle of the finest, please. Nothing less for my guests." I have to say, I wasn't expecting you to come visit. I rather thought it would be, well, Kaijitsu Dono. What a beauty she is.
Oh. Ismark like rubs his eyebrow and he just goes, yeah, well, funny thing. Miss Kaijutsu is well, she and her siblings are going through a bit right now. Also give me like 2 minutes for me.
Shadras, you are left alone with a repulsive man.
Oh no. Oh man.
Ismark just abruptly bolts from the table.
Ismark drops something and it starts rolling. Let's go chase it real quick. You know what? If you will... Did I just... What the fuck?
This man is so repulsive he kicked you out of the Roll20.
What the fuck?
Get back in here.
I'm trying, man. Ow.
So what was your question?
Oof. Sorry. Chest hurts all of a sudden.
I hate when that happens.
Right? Like, if I'm dying, just fucking kill me already.
Alright, if you insist.
Yo, bet? You flying down? I forgot my question.
That's okay. And yes, Piper, he was expecting to see Kokoro.
Do with that what you will.
Is there a reason other than just highest charisma, or?
He thought the two of you made a connection.
Oh no.
What was the term again?
Oh boy.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So
Yes, the Kaijitsu siblings are going through it right now. He sighs at the sound of this, and he does look a little sad. And he goes, "Well, I suppose I'll give her a bit of time before I show up as her knight in shining armor. Then."
so there's a long pause. Right. He will just kind of shake his head and clear his throat, just like, okay, I just have to shake that off for a second. I need to recalibrate. Right. So, Mr. Foxglove, you were in town. If I recall, you mentioned you were in town for some business opportunities or such.
Oh, yes. I was actually just on my way to McNamara.
You were
I d-
leaving.
I figured I might as well pass through. As you'll know, Foxglove Manor is not too far from here. Only a couple days' ride. I heard of the
Yeah,
Swallowtail Festival, and I thought I might as well stop by for the festivities. And it was my great surprise to encounter such beauties as, well, Miss Rialdi and Kaijitsu Dono.
There's that thing again. And Mark just shakes it off. He's just like, yeah. So I do have a question. Were you you were out of town possibly during or were you aware of all of the goings on at the Foxglove estate not that long ago. I think it was a year, DM?
Yeah, it was actually, I think it was 2 because Ismark moved here 2 years ago. So it would have been
Yes.
yeah, it would have been about 3, I think. I'm assuming
4
Ismark.
years. The current timeline is 4 years.
Thank you. So I'm guessing Ismark says 4 years.
Yeah. Were you aware of the goings on at the Foxglove Manor around 4 years ago-ish?
Make a let's see. Make a sense motive check.
Sense motive. Okay.
Shay can also make this check.
Thank you.
Does Shay want to
I'm
know his
gonna-
motives?
I mean, she's here.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw an inspiration on this one.
Mhm.
For another d6. I'm rolling really bad, but thank God for the skill boosts. That's gonna be an 18.
Okay. Did you roll a 1?
Nope.
Did you roll a 20?
Yeah, I
God
understand
damn
if
God
I
damn it!
understand if you want me to just not roll here because
You cooking those dice?
I'm teasing. It's perfectly fine. I do find
I
it
know.
amusing. It's perfectly fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm so sorry, but that's gonna be a 31.
That's impressive. No, this is incredible. Please don't feel bad about it at all. It's very suiting to Shea Jose's character. So he flinches for a second, and both of you do catch him flinch very slightly as he picks up what you now realize to be a half-empty glass of wine that he has in front of him, fills his cup back up again, doesn't offer either of you one. Well, I am the Lord of Foxglove Manor. As you may know, I went through a few difficulties of my own, if you're asking about the house. So, unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, I do happen to know most of the things that happen at home. Ismark, you understand that he does not like this question, and that he is a bit uncomfortable with the line of questioning. Sheadrez, you understand that this is the last possible thing that this man wants to speak about, and that it's very possible the next few things that come out of his mouth are going to be lies, because he wants to avoid this subject as much as possible. But it's because he's worried about something. Not that he's angry. It's a fear.
Ismark kind of narrows his eyes. And, oh man, now I gotta play the game of like, how much do we reveal without giving away all fucking cards? Ismark kind of like leans on the table and drums his fingers on the table and just says, "Yeah, right. Oh, sorry to dredge up old wounds, but it seems we've come into some interesting facts here. And I'm powerful curious about something. Did you happen to have any connections to anyone from the Kaijitsus?"
He takes a sip of his wine. No, not at all. In fact, well, I had heard, of course, of Gaijitsu Dono. Who hasn't heard of her? She was all over the place in Magmore. You couldn't go very far without hearing somebody talk about her singing, or her dancing, or the grace of her every step. So, of course, I was interested in her, but, well, I understand that the Kaijitsus are a renowned glassmaker family here, and, well, aside from a couple of replacements of our windows back at the manor, I can't say I've had very much occasion to work with them.
I wish there was a zone of truth, but something that only I would know.
Hey, if you want to pop into Murder TV real quick, that's also fine. Or DM me.
It's I could DM you. Hold on. Also going over my notes here about what Ismark knows.
I have to ask, because you mentioned the next few things out of his mouth are probably lies. Is he capping?
Is he?
Is he? I'd like to know. I'll have her speak if I must.
You're gonna have to follow up on that then.
Okay.
How would you like to follow up on that?
I don't want to. But he's finally focusing on Ismark. And Kokoro, who's not here, so it's fine.
She's safe.
Yeah, she's safe because she's not here.
At the Rusty Dragon, Kokoro feels a shiver.
I gotta roll,
I
see
sense a
how bad this is gonna be. How, on a scale of 1 to... Yep, okay. She's not the most well-spoken person. She's very, very blunt. So, Joe, are you gonna have Ismark say something?
I sent a secret DM to double check info.
All right, let's see.
Because I might have an impulse question from Shay.
If you got it, go for it.
I wouldn't say it.
So Ismark, just if you want to go, you can. If it'll, because Ismark has a thing.
So the thing that Shay's gonna say that I thought of would be like essentially asking him, so what are you scared of? Essentially just following up like, why are you so afraid of something? Just fucking reading him for what she read him as, which would probably just light a fire on something that I don't know if we have the capabilities of putting out. But that's the line of questioning that would do. So if you want to go a different direction, feel free.
Ismark was just gonna chase down more of the kaijutsu stuff.
Okay. This is Ismark's investigation. Shay is just here.
Fair enough. Okay. If he gets more dodgy, you can chime in. Ismark will rub his chin and just kind of nod me like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So you wouldn't happen to know anything about any deals that ran afoul of pseudo kaijutsu at all?
Tsuto? Is that? I do think I've seen that chap about. But I can't say I've ever had any business dealings with him. As I said, we don't often have to replace windows at the manor.
Ismark kind of rubs his chin again, just goes, see, I have it on a pretty good authority that there was an incident involving the kaijutsus, and well, I had shared a brief word with Pseudo himself, and he seems to think differently about your never having crossed paths before.
Aldern had previously been looking over toward Sheadrez in between his statements, not ignoring Ismark, but certainly not paying him any attention. But now his eyes swing toward Ismark, and his brows narrow above his eyes. And Ismark, you realize that his eyes are a very, very cold blue. Sort of like frost over a lake. There's a piercing quality to them, and he sees you now, if he didn't see you before. And if you don't mind my asking, whose authority is it exactly?
Ismark. He's man, I want to try a bluff,
Go for it. You're welcome
but
to.
it's gonna be really, really risky. I'm gonna try for bluffing, even though it's a -1.
Mm-hmm.
And Ismark, I will throw an inspiration on it, but Ismark's gonna say, I have it on good authority from both one of his previous, let's say, business associates, someone who works with the Brothers Seven, maybe you've heard of them.
Ooh, spicy check, I see. You're getting fucking spicy with it. All right.
That's such a bad roll. Fuck it. Do I have a hero point? I do.
You get one per level.
He gets one per level and he is using it to fucking light a foxglove.
I'm
Okay.
doing it. I rolled a 5 on the d20. I'm absolutely not keeping a 5.
All right, boss. What's
There
our
we
reroll?
go. I re-rolled it. I got an 18, and then I got a 3 on my d6 for a grand total of 22.
22. All right. Let's see what his
Wait,
sense
14,
motive is
sorry.
looking like. All right. Okay. There is a moment of quietness that overtakes this restaurant in between its rushes. You should be hearing the shuffle of the footsteps around you, bottles being opened, tables being wiped down, condiment bottles being refilled, but all of that seems to fall away with the look that Aldrin gives you. As this cringeworthy man that you've come to know falls away for a second, and Ismark, you see something much darker, much sharper within him. The smile fades, at least from the eyes, although it remains on his lips. And he taps his finger against the table. You know, I am starting to remember something, as a matter of fact. I can't believe I forgot it before. You see, there is something that happened on the estate 4 years ago. Rather a tragedy. There were some unpleasant rumors being spread about my family. There's always rumors being spread about my family, thanks to grandfather's terrible habits and, well, what happened to my father. It's awful to spread rumors, don't you think? To say terrible things about a man and his family, even though you've never met them. It affects their business. Well, there was someone who came asking questions of me about 4 years ago. I wasn't home at the time, so some of my extended family members had to field the questions, and they were very troubled, you understand. He was implying all sorts of things about us, ghastly things, that we were involved in criminal enterprise, and who knows what else besides. The things that one would never, ever want to say about anyone else without good reason, and yet here he was, spouting on and on and on. And, well, those words began to spread despite the best efforts of my family members, and whatever happened to that man? You know, I believe he did try to break into the manor. Just a terrible thing to do, given the state of it at the time. I was still in the process of repairing it. He got terribly hurt there, though. From what the guards told me, he was very near death when they hauled him out. I wonder if anybody's ever spread rumors about that one, about what he's done. I wonder how he would feel about that if people started insinuating that his family was involved with cults and assassinations. You're a family man, aren't you, Mr. Ward? I believe I've discovered that. You see, I've asked around about you, all of you. You were my saviors, of course. I'm so grateful to you for saving my life. But you are a family man, aren't you? How would you feel?
Ismark is like he has looked serious before. He has been in life and death situations where he's had to like narrow his focus on like what's happening. But there is a distinct difference between like the collapse and action of a fight and then the threatening buildup of what might become one. And in that moment, like during all of what Aldern is saying, Ismark has been winding tighter and tighter and tighter like a spring. And he can't hide this sort of tension. Like his shoulders are tight and his jaw is real set. And he has a mix of just anxiety and anger. He will like he stops drumming his fingers on the table. And yeah, Shay, like you can absolutely tell that Ismark is like whatever Aldern was going on about really got under Ismark's skin.
Mm. Well, this don't look good.
Aldern leans back with his glass of wine, smiles again, the light coming back into his eyes somewhat. Well, is that all? See, I thought I had made some friends. Don't tell me you're not here to be friendly.
Oh shit. Ismark. He tries to like shake himself out of it. And like closes his eyes and flexes his jaw a little bit. And just goes, ah. You know, I didn't think that Varel and Trevor, I didn't think that they would they're pretty savvy, or at least they were. But after what happened, I didn't think anyone would be stupid enough to chase down more of whatever happened to Trevor.
There's that same hard look on Foxglove's face, but the smile remains in place. And he takes another sip and he gestures with his wine glass to Shayadrez. And he goes, Your sister died in that fire, didn't she?
Shay just looks at him. And I feel like she shifts a little bit as like he turns to look at her. She's just been studying both Ismark and Aldrin this like back and forth, reading them both, trying to keep tabs on both of them. She looks at him. She's like, "Ah, so you did do research."
Oh, I did. I never go into anything blind. How would you feel if your friend here insinuated that you would follow in your sister's footsteps? You seem an upstanding woman, in spite of your unfortunate shadow. So, how would you feel if he made that insinuation? Because that's the insinuation he just made to me.
She looks at him. She tries to look at Ismark. Turns to look back at Foxglove. It's like, you know, the first gift you ever receive is your family. That's because we all grow from the seeds of our parents' plant.
So, just as you say this, the smile is now gone from Aldrin's face. Just gone, wiped away like a slate, with the streaks of chalk clinging to it, being the hints of a 5 o'clock shadow that you can now see across his face. Some of us would prefer to be a little farther from that. Some trees have rotten cores, and sometimes regrowing is its own miracle. Isn't that right, Mr. Ward?
Evemark's eye twitches. He kind of lets the silence hang for a second, and then he will like rest his shoulders a little bit and be very plain. He's like, "Okay, Foxglove, I'm gonna be straight with you, and if you cooperate, we can both go our separate directions. We can be happy in our own lives. We don't have to cross paths ever again. But if you aren't straight with me, and I go digging around, and me and my friends end up finding something, and it ends up leading us back to you, it's going to be a bad time. So, Ismark like adjusts himself in his chair. What do you know about what's going on with all of this I don't know what the word for it would be. It's not like a cultic activity, I guess. Occult activity.
Conspiratorial, conspiracy,
bad vibes.
bad vibes. Matt, words.
It's
Matt,
not
words.
Words.
satanic.
Words.
Words are hard.
Matt, dispense word.
I mean,
Lamashtic.
occultic works here.
Yeah. Then Ismark like he'll like look at Foxglove and just kind of narrow his eyes, and he's like, "What do you know about all this occult activity that's going on? I saw it start in Magnamar, and now it's moved up. And I know you know something."
Ismark. That feels like, I could see it going either way, diplomacy or intimidation. I'll let you pick.
I am almost equal in both, but I'm gonna pick diplomacy because in this case, DM,
Hmm.
can I have I forget what it is. Ceaseless observation. Ceaseless observation I can use intelligence for diplomacy provided I'm trying to gather information. Does that apply in this case?
100%.
Okay, then we're gonna go with diplomacy. I don't want to try to intimidate him quite yet. Trying to
Quite
be
yet.
affable. This is it. This is the olive branch. And I will throw another inspiration on this one. Oh God, that's real bad. Rolling real shit tonight.
What have you got, boss?
That's an 11.
An 11. Okay. Let's see. What is his save? All right.
So I think 11 does kind of fit with the ultimatum.
She either crit or rolled a 10.
Tell me it's a pushover.
Kira?
Man's made
Okay.
out of tissue paper.
All right. You give Aldern this ultimatum, and he's across from the two of you on the bigger side of the booth, having taken the cushioned seats for himself like an asshole. And he's just about done with his glass of wine, which he places down between the two of you. Looks straight at you, Ismark, with those very cold blue eyes, and it strikes you as you're looking into them now what they remind you of even more than Frost. You've seen dead bodies get about that color sometimes. He puts both of his hands down, interlaces his fingers. Tsuto Kaijitsu got involved with some people he shouldn't have. That's the end of that matter. He doesn't have a mind for business. Too brash. Broke things. Will that be all?
Ismark just he can see it and Shay can see it. Ismark's just his eyes are darting left and right over Aldern's face, just trying to read any last little tidbit of information. Like there's no way that he's just he's obviously hiding more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can press on him more if you want.
Ismark is going to look over his shoulder towards the front entrance where they walked in. Is that young woman still standing up there?
Aggressively ignoring your presence? Yes.
Okay, great. Ismark will turn back and he'll say, you know, I promised not to make a scene. And Ismark is going to lean back and he will, like, in a kind of fluid motion, reach down and well, actually, is the guy ordered wine, right?
Yes.
Aldern ordered wine. There's a wine bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than do that, Ismark's gonna be like, you know, I wanted to cooperate and to be nice and to not make a scene. I promised someone that I wouldn't make a scene. And Ismark is going to reach over and grab the bottle of wine and just take a sip straight from the neck and then set it down on his side. And can I have that count as his casting of refined improvised weapon?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Go.
Shay
He'll
tries.
take the sip and set the bottle
just-
down.
fucking Christ.
Shadros, the bottle seems to be shining now. Just a
Shush.
little brighter.
A hand comes up to just rub her forehead. It just leans an elbow on the table of like, oh, fucking men. That's what this fucking is. Just fucking men. Is what this fucking is.
He's holding the wine bottle still, and he like kind of drums his fingers against it. And he's just like, I need more than just he was in over his head. I know Sura was in over his head. He was involved with some deep shit, Aldern.
There's a moment of just consideration from Aldern, and then you see his shoulders slump a little. He lets out a breath. Fine. He was in very over his head. He and one of his business compatriots were looking to create some sort of army or outfit them, something of the sort. Got involved with a man by the name of Trifex. And, well, stiffed him on a payment. And when Trifex sent a couple of men to recoup his damages, what did Suto do? He gestures to Sheadrez with like a tilt of the head. He and his wife. Well, they decided to try and make a display of the enforcers, and that did not go very well for them. Had to skip town.
Eastmark narrows his eyes. They had to skip town, and so they came to Sandpoint and brought all their shit with them.
It's correct. Now, that's not why I came to Sandpoint. I really was just here to see the festival.
Can I roll a sense motive to see if he's hiding? If that is like a full on
Fucking
truth.
Doubt.
Go ahead.
I do kind of believe him because he's an eccentric rich weirdo. Like, of course he's gonna do some weirdo shit like that. Like, yeah, there's a festival, fuck it. I can just afford to lose X number of days of my time to do whatever. God. 16.
16. Ismark, as far as you can tell, this man is telling the truth.
So, I feel like E says that, and Shay, who's been trying her best to stay silent, just is startled into like, what? So, you knew? Did you know they were coming here? And you decided festival? Just why not?
He seems to be confused for a second. Who? Suto? I knew he was from here. I don't know what he wanted the army for. They were talking something absurd. And, the truth is that it didn't concern me. It was more of an arms deal. That's not my business, and you learn very quickly in Magnamar, dealing with the people that I do, that you don't inquire too much about other people's business. So I didn't.
Did he return the favor? To you. About your business.
Oh, he had quite a few things to say about me. Most people do.
Really?
Baldur doesn't respond to that. He just looks at you.
Shrugs.
Ismark
Sal.
drums his fingers.
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Just, I feel like fucking. Sorry, Shay's a weird, introverted yet chatterbox. You can shut her up if you want to.
No, go ahead.
She's okay. So, what's your plan now? You staying here?
And he shrugs. Well, as I said, I've still got business to do. The manor does still need remodeling.
What's wrong with it?
He frowns. You haven't heard.
No. Never heard of ya.
Ismark, kind of matter-of-factly, just says, she lives in the woods. Not disparaging, just like, yeah, that's why she hasn't heard. She's not a city person. She lives literally in the woods.
He sighs. I suppose you would have to live in the woods not to have heard of us. Foxglove Manor was the site of several grisly murders and was abandoned as a result. For many generations it has fallen into rot, and, well, certain unsavory parties have tried to burn it to the ground. People who have gotten it in their head that I'm involved in nefarious dealings when that couldn't be farther from the truth. I try to keep far from such things. I do try.
Shay's gonna straighten up. She's gonna lean in a little bit, slightly, not too close, obviously, because fucking weird guy. But he hasn't been weird in a hot minute, so just kind of straighten up. She's like, "You're telling the truth. You don't want to follow all those rumors. You lying to me?"
No, I am not lying to you. You really are so much like her, combative. It doesn't suit a woman to be so combative.
Couldn't really hear you.
Oh, the fucking garbage truck outside? Sorry.
I heard a
Foxglove
vroom.
just drives off in his car.
He said, you really are so much like her, combative. God fucking...
Ismark, quit cranking your hog.
Oh.
Oh, God. All right, we're going to
Really
try
are
it.
So much
We're gonna
like her.
fucking try it.
Combative, right?
You're combative.
Okay.
It doesn't suit a woman to be so combative.
I feel like Shay just shrugs. Probably. But
Ismark just snorts
What?
at, like, the combative thing. Sorry, go ahead.
it's okay. So, what are you gonna do with it? The mana.
He blinks. This can't be a serious question. I intend to live in it.
Even with all the history.
I intend to purify it, if you must know. This conversation has turned rather dour.
Wait.
don't
How do you
think?
purify? I want to know more about that.
Well, I'm afraid that we all want to know things that we can't know, Miss Vialdi.
It's all Dre.
Ismark snorts again.
Foxglove sighs, pours himself, picks up the glass, goes to pick up the bottle of wine. Ismark, do you allow him to get it?
Ismark will take another big swig and then set it down on the table pretty hard and then slide it over to him.
He pours himself a glass, drains the glass in one go, and stands. Well, do tell Miss Kaijitsu that I send my regards and look forward to hearing from her, won't you? He goes to leave.
Ismark will he'll stand up too, and then look at Shay like, yeah, we'll let, like, kind of silently implying like, yeah, we'll let him leave, but I don't want to be sitting down while he's standing.
Chill.
And
What? What kind of? Okay.
he'll look at Foxglove and then give him a nod and be like, thanks for the info. And 2 things. If we find something and it does lead back to you, I wasn't kidding. And the last thing, if you ever try to subtly threaten my family ever again, it will be the last thing that you do.
There is a sad scoff from Aldern, a resigned sound. Mr. Ward, it isn't me you have to worry about. And he leaves.
You got anything, Shay?
My audio was just cutting in and out. My headphones are turning on and off for that, so I missed Ismark's really cool moment. I'm so sorry. I heard the start of it though.
That was good. He
But,
just said, like, don't threaten my family.
Yeah. Fucking Foxglove's gone?
Yes, Foxglove said,
Mhm.
it isn't me you have to worry about, and then left.
Ismark
Okay.
will let him go, and he'll.
Mhm.
And I was asking you, like, has Shay got anything?
To Ismark? For Ismark, yeah.
He would look to Shay, and if Shay lets Foxglove go too, he would nod, like, in thanks.
You see that she doesn't want him to. She doesn't want to let him go. She's got a couple more questions that she wants to be annoying about. But if Ismark, like, implies that he's letting him go, she's like, fucking fine. And then she turns to Ismark. It's like, Sal! You still owe me. And
He
next time, I need to know the situation.
Ismark nods and just goes, yeah, I look, I fully intended to tell you and everybody
Did ya?
else. Yeah, I did. He's a little wounded. Yeah, listen. I wanted to have backup for this, but, you know, I'm used to doing this whole thing alone, so I didn't think to inform the partner I was teaming up with. He does like a gesture between himself and you. But I'll do that next time. And yeah, listen, I'll explain. There's a lot of history. Foxglove's they're a weird family, weird and complicated. I had a strange run-in with them, sort of, as you can probably tell.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah, but hey, I'll tell you. I'll tell you and everybody else. I'll make a note of it. I still have probably my old case notes somewhere, but for now, you want to get out of here? And he like pulls on his coat and looks around like, yeah, we kind of killed the vibe. We should fuck off.
She's just like, yeah, you don't gotta tell her twice to get out of a public place. I guess fucking go. but makes it very clear while they're walking. She's like, yeah, try not to keep secrets.
Hey, listen, it's not personal. It was
Feels personal.
no, yeah, again, I'm sorry. Like it's weird working with someone in parallel on this sort of thing. I was always used to doing the investigating stuff on my own, but long time ago, Ismark stops and just goes, "It wasn't that long ago. 4 years ago, I still lived in Magnamar, and and as he's walking, he will pull out a little like case of smokes, and he'll offer one to Shay.
She'll take the note.
Yeah, and he'll like kind of talk as he's going, or just go like, "So, I was in Magnamar. I worked as part of the city guard there, and there was some weird rumors going around. I saw someone bust into the Foxglove Manor long time ago, like I said, and I wanted to figure out what was going on. Foxgloves, they're a weird family. They got a lot of secrets. I'll tell you more about that later, but the run-in that I had happened then. I followed that person in. I couldn't find him. He just kind of gestures with his hands, like he gesticulates a lot, but he kind of just makes a gesture and just goes. So I looked around the mansion a little bit. It was not in great shape, but couldn't find that person. But I did find some kind of weird artifact box looking thing. It had a bunch of weird markings on it. Seemed suspicious. And I couldn't make heads or tails of it. And he pauses and just goes, tried to open it, figure out what was inside it, but something happened. May have been warded or maybe had some kind of protection spell or something on it. I don't know, but knocked me clean the hell out. And next thing I knew, I was getting my ass thrown out into the street by someone from the house. I don't know if it was the guy who went in or if it was someone different. But I had to scram. So I did. Tried going in there since, but it was it just didn't feel right. You know, when you kind of got bad vibes about a place and you just don't want to go near it?
She nods.
It's kind of like that. It wasn't like that before, but it was like that after. So he shrugs, kind of ashamed. So I didn't go. Kind of regret not going now, but I hadn't been there since, so maybe it's still the same. Maybe if I went back there, it would still be bad. Who knows? But with all of what's happening here, and he gestures to Sandpoint, I mean, I left Magnamar with Ginny and Cece because I didn't want them to be near all that shit. Magnamar's a rough place. If you're in the wrong spot, you can end up in a really bad spot. If that makes sense. Sandpoint is nice, it's cozy. So we moved up here, but he shrugs. Looks like that shit just followed me up here. So now I gotta deal with it. I'm just glad that I got other people who also want to deal with it. It makes it a little bit easier.
She nods again, slower. She's kind of just like thumbing through pages in the book, not really reading them. She kind of closes it to turn to like look in Ismark's direction as they're walking. So, two things. Hold up a finger. 1. No secrets. 2. You're not going anywhere alone.
He raises an eyebrow. I get number 1, but why about number 2?
She looks at him. Kind of blinks for a second. 'Cause you might die.
Die. I don't think I'm that unlucky. Like I'm not the luckiest guy, but I'm not the unluckiest guy.
4 years ago. You got Cece now. You can't risk it. You have a daughter.
I kind of he like as they're walking, he would look at Shay, and then now he says you say that, and he like kind of looks straight ahead, and you can see him think for a second, and just kind of like he grimaces, but not at the thought of CC and whatever. He's just grimacing at like, ah, shit, got a point. And he just nods. Yeah.
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 Take it from a double orphan. It fucking sucks. Losing your dad. Don't be stupid.
He nods. Man, you and Soul are both. You're right, though. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, and thanks for coming. I know it was, he just gestures, like, towards the street you were walking on in the opposite direction not that long ago. And he's like, I was kind of last minute, but I needed the backup. And glad I could count on you. And he'll do, like, a little arm punch.
There is just like a small smile. Turns to like a grin from Shay. He's like, ah, nice, I did good. And she kind of stands up a little straighter as they walk. She's like, yeah. You know, helping the community. Great. Anyway. Oh, good.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Evemark smiles, and he like tugs on the edge of his new coat, like grabs it with both hands and pulls on it, and just goes, "Hey, by the way, Jenny made me this. Isn't this nice? Look at this. It's got really deep pockets." And I'll like stick a hand in the pocket.
Let me fucking roll something real quick. Yeah, she sees that. She's like, what? I reach over, inspect pockets. She also like grabs.
It's the same for you. You can't feel your hand inside the pocket.
Holy shit.
Yeah, right. It's magic. It's an enchanted coat.
Jenny? She made it.
Shay just this does not smell like Ginny. Well, it does, but there's also the perfume to contend with.
Huh.
Yeah, she had help, but like, you know, I give Ginny most of the credit.
I feel like Shay just mutters something to herself. It's very quiet, though. It sounds suspiciously like, man, getting married seems awesome.
You gotta find yourself a giant half-orc wife. Everybody needs one.
Find yourself a Mary Ellen, round about 6 feet tall, with gray eyes, pretty buff, but not super buff. They've never steered me wrong.
You can also add black hair to that now, by the way.
Yeah, with black hair.
Yeah. Right. Well, I feel like Shay is just, okay, cool, inspecting the pocket. Mutters the fucking, man, that's so cool. Fucking marriage is fucking cool, apparently. Goddamn. I feel like she's very unceremoniously give the book back to Easemark and just be like, oh, bye.
So
leave.
As our heroes depart here, the Shadress leaves with a deep and abiding envy of married life burning in her core. Question above table for the rest of you. I would like to try and get one more scene in. However, I recognize it is 10:47. So, how are we feeling about that as a group?
I'm down. I'm down for podcast mode for however long.
It would depend on how long the scene is for me.
Okay. How much longer do you have in Yuzi?
I think maybe 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. So I will posit the question then to Cody and Iris. Do you guys want to have a 20-minute scene here, or do you want to wait for next time?
If we still have a Cody and Iris.
That is a fair point. I am not sure if we do
Sorry,
have them.
I was waiting for Cody to speak first because I want to talk over them.
Admittedly, I am quite low energy.
Okay.
Um,
That's perfectly fine.
I'm cool with waiting.
Yeah. So then we will start off with Augustiana and Mesmine next time, and then we will go to Kokoro. And that will probably... Oh, yeah, and Shadra still has to talk to Xanthus. So those are the things that are on the docket now.
Yeah, Shay Dress can go last.
Because she got put on the spot this time.
Yeah, she got fucking yoinked.
Eastmark's gonna yoink every member of the party while they were on their way to go do something
True.
else.